What set this one apart is, and keep in mind, no one deserves to be killed, to be murdered, to have their home invaded, regardless of the circumstances. But in this particular case, what made this one unusual is that you had a completely innocent family, completely innocent victims in this case.
Right.
And additionally, there was no connection whatsoever, none, between this family and any of the four defendants. And so that's what, for me, sets this one apart from what I typically see with your garden variety home invasion. The house, it was definitely targeted. This wasn't an accident. They just stumbled upon this home. We believe, based on information we have, it was targeted based on bad intelligence, bad information. The information that we have is that someone familiar, unidentified at this point, but familiar with the McCoys and familiar with the residents, provided bad information to Joel Milburn. Whoever it was, they did provide Joel Milburn with a layout of, or at least a description of the layout of the McCoy residence. After the home invasion, there were some quick leads, but then those leads didn't pan out, and so the case actually stalled. But what detectives did, Zach and the other detectives involved in this case, was they continued to investigate the case in order to eliminate suspects, eliminate evidence as being, or determine whether there was credible pieces of evidence. So they didn't give up on the case, but they didn't have any leads. So they went out and shook trees to see what that can bring, and then ultimately they did get a break. We're looking for anything that would lead to a potential suspect. So they talked to countless individuals, anyone with a criminal history, anyone that sneezed in the presence of the McCoys. They tried to develop whether or not the McCoys had any enemies, anybody who didn't pay their rent on time, anybody who had issues with paying rent. They talked to all those folks. They talked to the folks that those folks suspected. They talked to the people that those people suspected, and they just would not, give up. Maybe 3 months after this incident, they caught a break. There was an individual in Delaware who was arrested on, I believe, some drug-related charges. This individual had information regarding a conversation that a separate individual had in an attempt to work off whatever charges he was pending at the time. He provided this information to the Delaware authorities, who then contacted Detective Zach, who then immediately went and interviewed this guy. Without that type of effort, there would have been a prosecution. It wouldn't have been successful, because ultimately there just wasn't enough. We didn't have anything to really corroborate Melcher's testimony until Detective Zach went above and beyond and began to generate some more evidence.